Dear first year students, I will start a new poem today. The name of the poem is Oft in the Stilly Night. Oft in the Stilly Night, written by Thomas More. Thomas, 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 More, M-O-O-R-E. Or you may tell Thomas More. The second poem, the caption, the title of the poem, the caption of the poem, the name of the poem, what you tell, is Oft in the Stilly Night. Oft. First of all, you come to the meaning of oft, O-F-T. Oft is often. The meaning of often in English is sometimes or most of the times. The meaning of often. The meaning of often is sometimes. And it is also most of the times. Sometime and sometimes. Most of the time and most of the times are correct. Both of them are correct. Sometimes, most of the time and most of the times. Both of the things are correct, but they are used in different ways. But today this is not the time to tell you the thing. But I want to say that oft, the meaning of oft, O-F-T, is often, O-F-T-N, and the meaning is sometime or sometimes. What do you think? Most of the time or most of the times? Both the meanings are there, often. In the stilly night. Stilly is adjective and night is noun. And that adjective has already qualified the noun, that is night. Oft in the stilly night. The night is qualifier. The night is modifier. That is stilly night, tranquil night, calm night, clammy night, C-L-A-M-M-Y, clammy night, C-L-A-M-M-Y, clammy, or calm night, tranquil night. So the name of the poem is Oft in the Stilly Night. But in Indian context, especially the people of Odisha, take otherwise. What is that? And the meaning of oft is sometimes. The meaning of oft is sometimes. But you see the dictionary, you will get two meanings. One is sometimes and the other is most of the times. And however, what happens to him in the stilly night is a matter of discussion today. The poem contains 28 lines. The poem contains 28 lines. You do know a sonnet is a poem having 14 lines. A sonnet is a poem having 14 lines. 14 lined poems is a sonnet. But we see the lines of two sonnets. That means 28 lines. 14 into 2. 14 into 2, 28 lines. We get the lines of two sonnets. But they are not sonnets. Here, two sonnets, they are not sonnets. Rather, it is a different poem written in trimeter and dimeter form. It is written in trimeter and dimeter form. It is not a sonnet, or two sonnets are not there found, but we find the lines of two sonnets. Why did I say so? A sonnet contains 14 lines. So we will discuss a later on what is a sonnet. If you want to know, I will give you in a nutshell. A sonnet is having 14 lines. The sonnets are of two types, Shakespearean sonnet or English sonnet, and Petrarchan sonnet or Italian sonnet. The rhyme scheme of Shakespearean sonnet is A, B, A, B, C, D, C, D, E, F, E, F, G, G. FB, FB, CD, CD, EF, EF, GG. The rhyme scheme of Petrarchan sonnet is FBBA, FBBA, CD, CD. Different schemes are there. So I will tell you when I will teach you sonnet, but this is not a sonnet, or two sonnets are never found in the poem. Rather, we find only the 28 lines. 28 lines of the 28 lines of the poem, and these lines are the lines of two sonnets, but they are not sonnets. You don't know. And the poem is, so this is the poem of emotion, it is the poem of a sentiment. So dear students, dear students, you have to know that emotion is different from sentiment, or sentiment is different from emotion. That the emotion will affect your body and mind. Emotion will affect your body, it will affect your mind. And the sentiment will affect your mind only, it will never affect your body. So that is why emotion and the sentiments are two things. So this poem is full of emotion, and you may say this is having sentiment. The sentiment of the writer, the emotion of the writer, and here he has already made a bhala journey. The journey has already become bharava, the journey of life. This is the journey of life towards the doom, DWM, towards the death, towards the doom. So in English there is doomsday. In English, we have the doomsday, that is the last day, the closing day, the concluding day. All the world will be destroyed. So different philosophies are there. WBS has already given that this world will continue up to 2000 years, then it will be destroyed. So even if in tribal communities, you will find the same philosophy. And in Udia also, we have the philosophy that this world will be destroyed. Since 3-4 worlds have already gone. And this world one day will be destroyed, no doubt. And then anyhow, the poet wants to say about his childhood days, about his boyish days, the boyhood days. Because perhaps he is old. Perhaps he is old because the sense of death, that is death consciousness, is there in the poem. Death consciousness. The poet has already given death consciousness, and that is a bharabhala journey. That means the journey of the mind. The journey of the mind has already been given by the poet, the journey of the mind. Because for the time being, he has become nostalgic. He has become nostalgic. Because he has already looked back to his boyish days, his boyhood days, his childhood days, and he recollects the reminiscences of the childhood days. He recollects the reminiscences. He recollects the memory, childhood memory. And in this stage, in this old age, in the last part of his life, maybe in the last part of his life, the poet wants to recollect all these things. Because sometimes the childhood becomes prominent. The boyish days become prominent. The boyhood days become prominent. And when he is alone, when he is palely loitering, hither and thither, here and there, when he is palely loitering, he recollects all these things, especially at night. In stilly night, the poet has remembered his boyhood days, his childhood days, the sweet days, the sweet memories, the joys, the sorrows, the triumph and the defeat, the triumph, triumph, the triumph and the defeat, the joys and the sorrows, the ups and the downs. All these things come to his memory when he is about to sleep, when he is already gone to his bed to sleep. You mark, during the old days, many things will come, many things will perplex you, many things will disturb you, perplex you automatically. Because I am old, I don't know the feeling of old days. I am very old. After my retirement, I am here in a college, in a private college, after my retirement from the government setup. From the government setup, after my retirement, I am in your college or I am in a private college. but still I have that feeling. I have my emotion. I have my sentiment, and I don't know what the childhood is. I don't know what the boyhood is. So these things are transparent. These things are transparent. These things always come to the memory when you are old. So, dear students, the poet has given the verbal journey in the poem. It is a reflective poem, you do mark. Oft in the stilly night is a reflective poem, a pessimistic poem sometimes, pessimistic poem, and also there is the sense of optimism. We find the sense of optimism is found there. Pessimism is followed by optimism, or optimism is followed by pessimism. And it is a reflective poem because the reflection is there. And there is a reflection, there is echo, there is the recollection of childhood memory. And the poet has become nostalgic. He is haunted by, H-A-U-N-T-E-D. He is haunted by the sense of nostalgia, you mark. He is haunted by the sense of nostalgia, you mark. And he has never forgotten the bond of love. He has never forgotten the bond of love among the small children. The bond of love with his kith and kin, with his friends, comrades, with his chaps, with his chums, with his chums, with his chaps, with his comrades, with his friends, intimate friends. He has his bond of love, and that is unforgettable. Really, childhood memory is unforgettable. Boyhood memory is unforgettable. And they will all come when one becomes old. When one becomes old, all these things will come to his memory, no doubt. So that is a recollection, that is a recollection, that is a reflection, the recollection of reminiscences, recollection of reminiscences. The poet is reminiscing, the poet is reminiscing the past days, the dead past. The past is dead, the future is unseen, you mark. The past is dead, the future is unseen. But at present, the poet thinks about the past. What is the meaning of past? That will never bear any fruit. That will never bear any fruit. That will never give you the result. Only that may give your mind pleasure. That may give your mind only pleasure. The immense pleasure you will get, no doubt. When you are alone, palely loitering hither and thither, palely loitering here and there, and nobody is with you, only you are alone, solitary. You are found solitary. So that is why it is a poem of reflection, or it is a reflective poem, full of pessimism, and sometimes optimism is there when he becomes a child. The poet has become a child. The poet has become a boy. When he becomes a boy, he gathers sufficient pleasure. He gathers, collects immense pleasure, supreme happiness. Happiness he gets, supreme happiness, rapture. That is called rapture, or that is called ecstasy. The poet is getting supreme pleasure when he becomes a boy. Dear students, you mark sometimes our hearts will come to our mouths. The heart will come to the mouth when we become very much exasperated, when we become very much agog, when we are excited, heart will come to the mouth. And likewise, the old man becomes a boy. Because the child is the father of the man, you don't know. A child is the father of the man. That symbolizes that a father of a man has already become a child has become the father of the man. And the father, sometimes he becomes a child, the father. The father becomes a child because he is without teeth, sans eyes, sans voice, sans teeth, sans eyes, and sans everything. But Shakespeare has pointed out. But William Shakespeare in Seven Stages of Man has pointed out during the old age, you will have no eyes. That means you will have no eyesight. You will have no tooth in your mouth, no teeth in your mouth. You will have nothing. You are old. So that is why the poet says that wading through darkness, he sees the light. What is the light? The light of the other days, the light of the childhood days, the light of his boyhood days. That light comes to him. When the poet is in darkness, his friends have gone. His friends have gone, they have died. And some of the friends have already gone abroad. And he never finds a single one. He never finds a single one, only he is alone. The poet is alone. In his alone, he feels suffocated. He feels cornered. He feels suffocated. He feels that he is alone. So in such a situation, the poet is going towards or heading towards, is going towards the death land. But he never fears death. Death is a must, no doubt. So Jordan has already pointed out, death is a must. But it will kill our body. It will never kill our soul. Death is a must. That will kill our body. But that will never kill our soul. And death will come and it will die. Death thou shalt die. The name of the poem is Death thou shalt die. John Donne has pointed out, the metaphysical poet, in the poem Death thou shalt die. That is a challenge to death. So that is why the poet Thomas More has never feared death. You mark. Thomas More has never feared death. But there is a death consciousness. That he will die soon, no doubt. After some days he will die. Or after some days he will die, no doubt. But he never fears death. Death is a must. Death will come to everybody. Since we are all human beings, since we are all living creatures, death will come to us. And the poet never fears death in any line, in no line, the poet has already pointed out the fear of death. No line has said. I will also discuss all these things. What are there in the poem, I will all discuss. But dear students, you have to be very mindful. You have to be very serious. You have to be very meticulous. You have to be very attentive to the video while you listen. You have to be very attentive. Otherwise, you cannot catch hold of the meaning. You cannot find out the meaning. You listen to me. Automatically, it will strike. It will be there. It will be inculcated in your mind. It will be inculcated in the mind. It will be there in your mind, no doubt. So, dear students, you come that the poem has a musical sound. So, the poem, sometimes the poet is bereft. Sometimes this poet is laden with sorrow. The poet is bereft. The poet is sorrow stricken, panic stricken. He is dejected. He is woebegone. He is haggard. He is woebegone, haggard. And the poet being bereft, being haggard, woebegone, has already gone back to the past memory. The past memory is the sweet memory. Though it is full of joy and sorrow, sometimes. But they are all joy, not sorrow. The sorrow becomes a joy, you mark. The sorrow becomes a joy when you are a little child. The happiness becomes a sorrow when you are old, you mark. This is the difference. When you are a boy, when you are a girl, you have no sorrow at all because you have no dream. That sorrow is nothing but happiness. But when old age will come, the old period will come, old age will come, at that time your happiness will be sorrow. This is the contradiction, or this is the difference between old age and childhood days. So, dear students, here we have the death consciousness, and the song, the particular poem has a musical sound. The poem has a musical sound. It is also called the wedding song and also the picnic song. Sometimes the song is, this particular poem is sung. They are in the picnic party, and also this is called the wedding song, the nuptial song, the marriage song, that is also called. And dear students, you see that there is a bond of love in between he and his friends. There is a bond of love, and the poem is written in a trimeter and a dimeter form. The poem is written in trimeter and a dimeter form. And there is a tinge of nostalgia. There is a tinge, T-I-N-G-E. There is a tinge of nostalgia, Nostalgia. Sometimes you see dictionary. Sometimes you see dictionary. You hear the word. You hear the word minutely, and keep your dictionary with you. Advanced Learners Dictionary, Oxford Dictionary, and you will see the meaning. You will see the meaning. Since I am an English teacher, how can I tell you Udia? How can I tell you Udia? I am an English teacher, and I will tell you the English, and you will see there in the dictionary what is the meaning. You will see. Dear students, I want to say that that is called a wedding song or a picnic song often in the stilly night. And this poem is sung because it has a musical quality. It has a musical quality, the quality of the song. That is why the music, the song is, or the poem is also sung, S-U-N-G. The poem is also sung in the picnic party and sometimes in wedding ceremony, in nuptial ceremony, in marriage ceremony, that is the song. And dear students, I want to say that feels, the poet feels about his tragic loss. He has a loss. He has a loss. Many friends have gone. Many friends have already gone abroad. Some of the friends have already passed away. Some of the friends have passed away. And he never meets anybody. He never gets anybody. He is away from others. Only one. He is only one. And he is only palely loitering what I am telling. He is palely loitering. He is solitarily loitering hither and thither without any support. He has no mental support. He has no mental support or he has no physical support, only alone. Only to get mental support, the poet has got back to the reality of life, that is his childhood, the reality of life, the real life, which has already begun from his childhood days. The real life, the poet has already given. So that has already begun from his childhood days. And sometimes he goes back to his childhood days, he goes back to his boyhood days in order to get pleasure, immense pleasure, in order to get immense pleasure, the supreme pleasure, ecstasy, rapture from his boyhood days. So that is why the poet is telling about all these things in the poem. So, dear students, I want to say the tragic loss is there, tragic loss, and sometimes the lines have been repeated. Sometimes the lines have been repeated in the poem, and I will tell you about the refrain. About the refrain, I will tell you about the refrain, how the poet has used refrain, or how the poet has used repetition in the poem. I will all these things are to be discussed by me. Today, this much. This is the introduction part of the poem, and this much. And in the next class, I will tell you about the poem, and I will discuss one by one. Thank you all. Thank you all.